Welcome to NFL World, where the NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob, and welcome to the NFL Dream, where we're going to travel up to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and talk about the Green Bay Packers. Before we do that, everyone right now, like the video, subscribe. It's absolutely free, helps us out a ton. And while you're there, share the video. It helps us out, gets us to a much bigger audience, and so we can grow this channel. So looking at the Green Bay Packers here and all the things they got going on, they made some signings in August, I should say. Defensive lineman Devontae O'Malley and Jalen Simpson. They both signed on August 18th. During free agency side, I should say, they signed linebacker or all-around player, I should say, Isaiah Simmons, because he's not a linebacker. He was positionless players. You don't know what they are, and you don't know what they're great at, because they're good at a lot of things. They're just not good at. They're not good at one specific thing. They're not great at one specific thing. They're not spectacular. They're not any adjective or synonym you want to use in that situation. You cannot describe them as, because he can play slot corner, he can play safety, he can play linebacker, he's an edge rusher, he's this, he's that. There's no guarantee with Isaiah Simmons. That's what you're trying to bet on. He's a talented player, but what's his position? We don't know. Kicker Brandon McManus was re-signed. To quickly go over what happened, there was allegations about McManus when he signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars that they took away the contract and he was a free agent. Denver didn't want him back. And McManus was left without a team for a couple months. And then Carlson, the Packers kicker, was not very good. And they ended up saying, no, we're going to sign Brandon McManus to the practice squad. He's going to play. And he ended up playing really well. They liked his performance. They liked what he did. And they brought him back. So there you go. They also signed a kicker by the name of Mark McNamee. Excuse me. I got a sore throat today. They signed him in July. So there's kind of a kicking competition, but not really. We know who the kicker is. It's just excuse me. We kind of know who it is. We're just doing our due diligence. They also signed wide receiver Will Shepard, who is a rookie. They signed him also in July. So you're trying to build up this wide receiver room, which we'll get into in a little bit. Some other key signings: Isaiah Duffy, who has played starting snaps for you and is a starter for you. You want to keep him around, so there you go. 2-year deal. John Fitzpatrick and Tyler Davis are both just backup tight ends, so you're okay with doing that, bringing them back. Some of them have special teams roles. That's what you're trying to work off. The draft picks they have here, everyone knows Matthew Golden. Oh, that was such a big deal. The first Packers wide receiver to be picked in the first round in over 20 years. That's a massive, massive deal. He's a fast guy. You need wide receiver help, as we'll get into momentarily, but you need wide receiver help. Then you select Anthony Belton, the offensive tackle from North Carolina State, from NC State as they label it, but good move. You need some offensive tackle depth. We'll get into that also momentarily. Sevion Williams, the wide receiver from TCU, they selected him in the third round. If you don't fully understand what's happening, they lost so many pieces in the poachers they lost that were wide receivers, but also the injury to Christian Watson so late in the year that it affected their playoff run. That's the reason you go and get some of these guys. You lose experience, but you gain youth and you gain enough bodies to hopefully make you survive the season. Baron Sorrell, the defensive end from Texas, was the 4th round pick. They needed some edge rushing help. That's a good move. I like it. Colin Oliver, the defensive end from Oklahoma State, was in the 5th round. Warren Brinson, the defensive lineman from Georgia, was in the 6th round. The 2 7th round picks were Michael Robinson, the cornerback from Tulane, and John Williams, the offensive guard from Cincinnati. You can kind of see a pattern forming here of they really threw a lot at this offensive line and at this offense in general. Because, yes, they lost pieces, but you're betting on that these younger pieces can fill the gaps. In terms of the pieces that they lost a lot of starters. And that's the concern I have. It's not so much you can always get a player to fill a spot. It's always going to happen. They're not starters. That's not a starter. Jair Alexander, they released. He's now in Baltimore. That's not a good sign because you also lost Eric Stokes earlier in the offseason. He went to the Raiders. And yes, you did bring in Nate Hobbs, but that's like, okay, you lost 2 starters, you picked one up. Okay, great. But Nate Hobbs isn't going to do, like, he's an inside guy, he's an outside guy, he can kind of do both pretty well, so lose a corner, that's a concern. To put a rookie or even anyone else out there that doesn't have the experience of those 2 guys and the ability of those 2 guys. That's what you're trying to also focus on. A.J. Dillon, the running back, signed with the Eagles. So that's a loss too. Because it's not, you lost Aaron Jones and you lost A.J. Dillon. So now you're betting on other selections that you have had at the running back position. It's not great. You lost your starting center in Josh Myers. He's with the Jets now. That's a loss that you don't enjoy having because now you got to teach someone else how to be a center. Or you got to teach someone else to snap count, which is not easy. And then the TJ Slayton one, this is a significant loss, in my opinion. He's your defensive tackle. He was the guy who was playing very well, and now he's gone. He's with the Cincinnati Bengals, so that's a loss that you don't want to deal with. Other notable departures you had were John Runyon, the guard. He left, so he's gone. That's a loss. He would have been your starting center, more than likely. You just would have moved him over. And then Darnell Savage was also kind of gone. But even though those 2 things happened in 2024, there's still remnants for what happened in 2025. It's just those guys gone does not help you now, is what I'm trying to say. Even though those guys left in 2024, John Runyon more likely would have been your center in 25. To lose them was big things. To lose Savage, not so much, but it still would have been some difficulty. Looking at their standings, a team that went 11-6, you're not expecting. Say, okay, they ran out of bodies at wide receiver. No, you're not expecting that at all. But that's exactly what happened. They ran out of bodies. Christian Watson got hurt. Eagles, they had no one to throw to. You won 64% of your games. Anytime you're 11-6, anytime 11-6, you're either first in your division or second. You're never third. But when the teams above you won 82% of their games, 88% of their games, respectfully, like those are things that you're like, okay, come on, that's just not fair. How did we go into a division where the two teams above us won 15 games and 14 games, respectfully? That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. That's the point I'm trying to make. But the teams above them just had better ones. That sometimes happens. And that's never a good thing to see either, if your division is getting that good. Now let's get to the 2025 regular season schedule. The Detroit Lions, week 1. Then you play a Thursday night game, week 2. That's like, what? We're going to play a brutal game, week 1. And then got to do it again in a very short time frame. On Thursday Night Football against the Washington Commanders. Then you're at Cleveland, and then you're at Dallas. Then you have an early bye week. So the first 4 games, that's going to be tough to play. It's always tough to play your first every game. But when you got to play Detroit, Washington, we'll see how good Cleveland looks. Dallas is kind of a wild card because Green Bay's had their number. But I'm concerned about these wide receivers and this run game. I'm a little concerned about it. The bye week, week 5, I hate. You know this. I hate it. Early bye weeks are... Because then you got to play... Early bye weeks are terrible for a team. Because then you got to play from week 6 through the rest of the season. In this case. You're home for Cincinnati. You're at Arizona. At Pittsburgh, which is a tough game. And also the Aaron Rodgers revenge game. Home for Carolina. Home for Philadelphia on a Monday night. At the Giants in week 11. Week 12, home for Minnesota. Then you have a gauntlet because you're home for Minnesota. Thanksgiving, you're at Detroit. Home for Chicago. At Denver. At Chicago. Home for Baltimore. At Minnesota. That's a gauntlet at the end of the year. Especially through weeks 12 through the end of the year. It's a gauntlet. Denver's really good. I think Chicago will be better. And Baltimore's unbelievable. When they are playing the way they need to play, they are almost unstoppable. And then Minnesota's really good. And then obviously Detroit has been awesome the last 2 years. So there's concern levels here. So my record for this team is kind of just where they were last year, 11-6, 12-5, 11-6. That's my range for them. They'll be good. I'm concerned about what they look like near the end of the year when they go and through that gauntlet from weeks 12 through week 18. But let me know in the comments, what do you think the Green Bay Packers record will be? It's the pinned comment on the video. So go there and cast your vote. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Ebert.